Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 29th day of February 2024. Yes, today is the last day of the second month of the year. Okay. By His grace, we're here. We're coming your way with another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front page of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Judgment debt. AG affirms 10 trillion cedi savings. Parliament passes LGBTQ plus bill. Criminalizes homosexual activities. Tailor migration to growth and prosperity. President tells global community. Dr. Da Costa Abuaji heads NHIA. The Ghanaian Times. Child streetism suit. Supreme Court tosses child rights case. President appoints Da Costa Abuaji as NHIA CEO. 76th Christianborg Crossroads shooting incident marked in Accra. Aftermath of SONA 2023, we've saved 15 trillion cedis from court cases for government, AG affirms. The New Crusading Guide. Judgment debt. We've saved over 15 trillion cedis. AG declares. Ghanaian youth are not lazy. Give them opportunity. Paul Chumberima. Please headquarters facelift beautiful. Worth emulating. Akufo-Addo. Dr. Da Costa Abuaji grabs NHIA job. Living under the power of death. How thousands of Ghanaians risk their lives under high voltage transmission lines to seek daily bread. Using primary balance as fiscal anchor is deficient, Seth Tekpe. Daily Guide. AG justifies 10 trillion judgment debt savings. Anti-gay bill passed. 3 years jail term. Dr. Da Costa appointed new NHIA CEO. Police service transformation worth emulating. Nana. Assassination attempt foiled. The Insight. TVET employees suffering. Cry over meager salary and just treatment. State of the Nation address. Akufo-Addo should have apologized for economic hardship heaped on Ghanaians. Haruna Idrisu. Kumasi traders blast government of abandoned KJT Central Market project. 30,000 killed in 5 months of Israel's war of annihilation. Palestinians call for global mobilizations to stop the genocide. The Daily Statesman. AG saves Ghana 10 trillion cedis judgment debts. Parliament passes anti-LGBTQ bill. Dr. Da Costa Abuaji appointed new NHIA boss. President Lord's Police Services facelift. The New Finder. Akufo-Addo cautions countries against actions that jeopardizes unity of ECOWAS. Dr. Bawumia charges campaign manifesto committees to execute duties with United Front. Anti-LGBTQI plus bill unanimously passed. Dr. Chambers applauds Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation address. Daily Post. Rector of GIMPA caught hiding in Bawumia's manifesto committee is a question. Admit it, there is doomsday under your government. Boabi Samoa goes after Akufo-Addo. Overwhelming majority of MPs supported passage of anti-gay bill. Sam George. Corruption has imprisoned Akufo-Addo. Suhini. KK Kabobo receives support from John Mahama. Gamro for treatment of liver disease. And that's about it for the front pages. We're back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the outgoing. So what if the vetting is not successful? Will he come back home? Anyway, so he's the outgoing CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority and the Minister of Health designate, and also the MPP's candidate for the Lejo Kuku constituency, Dr. Bernard Oko Boy. Doc, good morning.
My chair.
And congratulations.
Yeah, I'm meeting of you. Maybe no one from police when I put no Agbasan. I have to be police if you.
Okay. Also with me on the show is the legal practitioner, who's also the National Communications Officer of the
Akote, are we song your TV?
Sabi Jemfi. Sabi, good morning.
Good morning.
Did you hear what he said?
I
heard it.
Also,
sometimes I make time.
Yeah. Do you know what he told me when I introduced him?
No.
He said now he's a bit bigger. And that if I had come earlier, the policeman would have prevented me from speaking to him.
It's true, he's not a very big man. I haven't seen him since his new appointment and designation as the Minister for Health, which is a huge achievement. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate him. We wait to see what transformation he can bring to the ministry
in 9 months.
Yeah, within this injury time of the Senke Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. But congratulations.
2 days ago,
thank you.
2 days ago, Abdul Fattah Issahaku was brought on the 64th minute by Leicester City, and he scored the winning goal in injury time.
Yeah.
So
this one is
maybe that's inspiration.
This one is like 92nd minute.
This is added time in injury time.
Exactly. Time added on. I'll wait to see.
Someone told me that it's good you are going there, but remember it's injury time. Then someone answered and said it's not injury time. They're actually playing penalties.
So he brought in to score the penalty.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm struggling, but hopefully this year, hopefully I'm hopeful that maybe by mid-year or so, I would be able to launch and of course publish my first book.
Oh wow!
On yes.
Wow.
On CSR. And innovation performance.
Wow.
Yes. And so hopefully.
Is that what you're holding?
I'd wanted to do that for my 50th.
Okay.
And I missed it a bit. And so maybe in a few months I'll be able to. Okay. But Dr. Koboy has been able to finish his book on the Ghana COVID-19 story from a medical point of view. So the book is yet to be launched, but this is it.
Telling Ghana's COVID-19 story.
Yes, fellow Ghanaians.
Fellow Ghanaians.
Telling Ghana's COVID-19 story. A journey of fear, facts, faith, and fortune. Okay. With a foreword by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana.
The book looks very colorful and beautiful. I'm just wondering what the content looks like. Whether it's the usual MPP propaganda or this one is...
So what's this book about? What's this book about?
Doc, so let me say a very good morning to my brother and to all your viewers. And a special one to my people in Lejukuku.
You know, after your nomination, everybody said, oh, Okonganwaya peace. You answer what I said. You know, anytime you're on the show with him, or he's on the show, at the end I'll say Okonganwaya, Okochiani Enko. When appointment, people said Okochiami Enko.
Oh, yeah. When there's an issue that you have to face.
I see.
So what I tried to do was to first of all avoid the situation we had 100 years ago when the flu pandemic struck the world. We also were caught up in the pandemic, but you don't actually get documents or any documented proof of what happened to us, what we did, and all that. So I just told myself that, look, it's not correct to let the future generation suffer the same things that we are suffering now. And I think I was also inspired greatly by President Akufo-Addo. You know, the last time we were in one meeting when COVID had gone down, it was almost just about to be declared as being over as a pandemic. And then one day at the meeting, the president, someone brought up those dark days when you come into the meeting, you hear rumors of death, hospitals being full, and you have to take decisions in the dark to try and stem it. And the president was like, so all this experience, is that it? as in what is happening, an indirect way of saying how are we putting these things together. So I was like, oh, I mean, it will be an interesting assignment. So look, all my foreign travels, usually when I go in the night, I started trying to put some of the things together. And basically, I spent time mentioning some of the measures we took and the science behind.
Okay.
In the heat of the COVID, you might not appreciate the science, but it was just to tell that almost all the measures had some sense behind them. And I looked at the outlook, what they achieved and what they missed. And I also tried to mention the challenge.
Did you capture the inflows, the financial inflows that came in?
Yes.
As a result of COVID?
I think these are the interesting things for which reason you have to get the book.
You won't give me a free copy. I have to go and buy.
Well, the president and
he would deserve an autograph copy when you
of
launch.
Course.
Well,
so that I can do a proper review.
Yes, because of his office as a communications director of the biggest opposition. I'll give his office one so that he can do his analysis.
A proper assessment and review.
Feedback.
Critique
But,
of it.
I'm happy that we told a logical story. And largely, when Sami reads, Sami realized that it fairly handles the facts and smartly avoids some.
So is this a? Let me try and see if I can capture my thoughts properly. Is this, let's say, a political leadership and medical appreciation of how we handled COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
I think largely it's the public health part. It also mentions or tries to put emphasis on the role of policy and leadership.
Okay.
Because policy determines what happens down in terms of the technical people, what they do. So policy defines behavior of both government machinery or the state machinery and the citizenry. And then I try in the last pages, I try to mention some of the things that COVID made us do. Important things that we wouldn't have done had it not been for COVID. Look, only few leaders would invest over $1 billion in building health facilities.
We've done that.
Oh, but Doc, I think when I go to the ministry, I'll try and throw light on them. There's been some fantastic work done on some of the Agenda 1 facilities. I went to the north to commission a few of our NHIS projects. We were driving through Binduri, all these areas that look quite remote. And all of a sudden, we came to some place where you had a lot of structures. It's like a huge place. And then when I asked, I was told this is one of the Agenda 1 facilities. It had come up to the roofing level. You see the ground structure, but apparently it's left with the finishing and then the equipment. So I think sometimes because of the politics, the impression is given that the announcement is a hoax. But with time, as I visit you on the show, I'll be bringing you some of the enormous work that has happened. My point is that had it not been for the virus, it would be difficult for any leader to say, I want to close the gap. No, I want to close the gap now and not in the future. And if you look at only 2 reference laboratories, national laboratories, Noguchi and KCCR, Kumasi, who do what we refer to as genetic amplification studies, like DNA testing, only 2. Immediately COVID struck. Within a period of 12 months, we had increased them to over 50 places where state apparatus, no government would have ever thought of putting up 50 in 24 months compared to 2 in about 30 years of Fourth Republic. So the virus actually brought our attention to some basics. So these are things that
Did your book focus on procurement?
Man, chair.
No, it's just a question. Oh, did it?
Let's focus on.
Oh no, I just wanted to.
Yeah. In fact, yes.
It did?
Yes.
Okay.
It did. In fact, the funny thing. I sent this book to one person who was very key on the COVID task force. And then he reviewed it. That person is quite blunt and straight. So he was the only person I was looking forward in terms of his comments. When he came, he was like, where are all the controversies?
Okay.
And then I pointed out 2. He said, see what you can do to the others. You know, so it's just to let you know that even some wanted me to, but I think I'm happy I'm speaking to a PhD holder. One of the things that academic or books do is to tell a story and instigate others to also tell other stories. So this book, I'll say, is the foundation. If anybody reads the book and thinks that certain perspectives are missing, Doc, I would largely contribute
on the basis of, let's say, Okoboy 2024. You can then provide the basis for your work.
Absolutely.
So Okoboy 2024 had these gaps, or did not make these conclusions, or recommended that this.
And
so on the basis of that, I am venturing into this area.
Dr. Jiro.
So that's fine. Okay. All right. So I'm sure that Sammy will wait for his copy.
Yeah, I would want to wait for it so that I can do an objective review of it. That you can be sure.
But Doc, congratulations.
Thank you.
What we are incapable of doing in our part of this world is to put things in writing, is to document our experiences and know what has happened. And not to try and make enemies for you in your own government, but I'm sure that perhaps this is something that even at the level of the government, it should have documented this or be in the process of documenting this. And I like the title, Fellow Ghanaians, which is something that the president became known for, because that's how he addressed us during the period. So congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Obviously, people will read it, people will get to know stuff, people will have their criticisms, but that's what scholarly work is all about. So,
and I'd like to say that we'll launch it on the 20th.
20th of March.
You know, initially wanted to do 12th of March. Ghana recorded its first COVID cases on the 12th of March 2020.
Oh.
So 12th March next month would have been the 4 years anniversary of COVID in Ghana.
Okay.
And we had to take it to 20th because His Excellency the President had some engagement in South Africa.
So he won't be.
So he asked that we take it to 20th.
Oh.
So that we'll be there for the launch.
Maybe you can plan something on the 12th.
All right.
Something which is not a launch itself, but something.
Yes.
Because I think it's quite significant.
As a precursor, yes. And then all proceeds.
That will be 6 days after the commissioning of the cathedral.
Why are we here? The good thing is that we've invested quite a significant amount of money into the production. But all proceeds from this book would go into the building of a COVID memorial ward in Nkranza.
Oh,
you know,
why in Nkranza?
Obi, Asempa.
Yes.
They had a show one afternoon where apparently one particular health facility in Nkranza, unfortunately, sometimes males and females had to go to the same ward when they were on the
admission.
Yes, admission. So I spoke to a few stakeholders there, and they've come out with the drawings of a ward which costs about 4 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So I wanted us to use this to build that, and then have the names of all those we lost through COVID engraved on the wall.
Oh, okay.
So it would be like a memorial.
All right.
Yeah, Anna.
Okay. All right. So we'd look forward to that, and we'll give you all the support that we can. It looks good. Who did the
so these are KNUST alumni did publishing. Okay. I saw a book he had produced, fantastic. So I went for him. He's very good, and I'm happy to say it.
Maybe you can recommend him to me as well.
Oh man, I feel a fire.
Raw Creative Productions.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great job. Okay. All right. You both are KNUST.
Yes.
Okay.
But different faculties.
Oh. How is my man, Professor?
When the announcement came for 3 days, no call.
Okay.
So I called him and I was like, but has he not heard that I'm the designate?
Yes.
They will need a job. Wait, tell me more.
Good morning, Prof. He's still lecturing, right?
Yes, still
Okay.
lecturing. Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. So imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is all about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions. To a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 cedis weekly and other amazing prizes. Our merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay and more points and win big this Momo season. Visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And use Kel Kids toothpaste flavored with strawberry. That gives a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude and love for brushing their teeth always. Kel Kids toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavities, and makes the teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. Kel Kids toothpaste is recommended for children between the ages of 2 and 6. It's a product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel Kids, happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple, self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. Amen Scientific and Herbal, an alternative medical hospital, is organizing a free health screening now for the general public. This is a way of saying thank you to Ghanaians. What's more rewarding than this? The free screening includes fertility tests, prostate, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, fibroid, ulcers, hepatitis B, and many more. Note that the medical screening is free, but patients with disease conditions will pay a token for their medications. Visit Amen Scientific at Domain near the Snake Flats Down or Clagon near the Shamananda Bridge and all other branches across the country. You can call Amen Scientific on 020-722-9505 or 0244-227192 to book your appointments. Amen Scientific and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer. Sammy, State of the Nation Address. Your views?
Well, once again, good morning to our cherished viewers. I think that what President Akufo-Addo presented to Parliament was not the state of the nation Ghana. You know, I think that perhaps he was talking about a country we all don't know about, an imaginary country that only the president can relate to. Because as I sat and watched him speak, even after his speech, you know, having gone through the entire speech, I wonder what country the president was speaking about in that address. Clearly, that country cannot be the Ghana we all belong to. Only the president knows the kind of country he was talking about, because the things he said showed that he's lost touch with the realities in our country today. And is living in his own bubble, his own wonderland, you know. There were 2 important issues that were conspicuously missing from the speech of the president. And that is why I don't regard, in fact, one of the reasons why I don't regard that speech as the State of the Nation Ghana address. These 2 issues, Doc, are the 2 most important problems confronting the nation Ghana today. And nobody can purport to present an address on the state of Ghana today without touching on those issues. The first is the issue of high unemployment, which is one of the biggest threats to our stability and security as a people. I'm not the one saying it. The National Security has said it. And many other civil society organizations have said the same. Even though the problem of unemployment is not new, even though the problem of unemployment is universal, ours is at an unprecedented level. Ours is at an alarming level. Ours is very scary if you look at the statistics that have been published by the Ghana Statistical Service, in the last couple of days. Doc, the rate of unemployment, we stood at 8.4%. According to the Ghana Statistical Services Ghana Living Standards Survey 7, conducted in 2016, 8.4% unemployment rate back then has now galloped to a hopping 14.7%. That is almost double the rate of unemployment within a period of 7 years. And any president who is genuinely interested in the creation of jobs and in, coming up with a sustainable solution to this problem that threatens the very stability of our democracy will not dodge such an important issue. What is even more scarier is the fact that the Ghana Statistical Service's youth unemployment now stands at almost 30%, 29.7%. That is unemployment among persons who are 15 years to 24 years. For those who are 15 years to 35 years, the unemployment rate is 22%. This is alarming. This is scandalous. This is serious. This is scary. And so I cannot for the life of me understand why President Akufo-Addo, who in opposition waxed lyrical about job creation, his vice, the failed chairman of the economic management team in opposition, told Ghanaians that under an NPP government, the economy will grow and grow and grow, and there will be jobs and jobs and jobs. So if under you, we are seeing this astronomical increase in the rate of unemployment, the rate of youth unemployment. And in fact, we are being told that over 4.5 million Ghanaians who are employable have left the labor force. In other words, these are people who, though are employable, have given up on their dream of searching for a job because of many years of disappointment and frustration. Over 4.5 million people. In fact, the Ghana Statistical Service says that between the fourth quarter of 2022 and the first quarter of 2023, 530,000 employed people stamped into unemployment. Oh, can you believe this? 530,000 people from quarter 4 of 2022, which is, October to December 2022, to quarter 1 of 2023, which is January to March 2023, 530,000 people who were employed became unemployed. And even as at quarter 2, 280,000 of these people still remain unemployed. So this is a national crisis of monumental proportions. And every responsible Ghanaian, every responsible government, and any leader who cares about the people must be interested in this. Yet, this issue didn't find space in the so-called State of the Nation address, which was read by President Akufo-Addo. And that, for me, is totally unacceptable. The second important issue that was conspicuously missing in that speech the president read was the important issue of the fight against corruption. Look, we were all in this country in the run-up to the 2016 elections. We heard Alhaji Bawumia and President Akufo-Addo, times without number, campaign on issues of corruption. Corruption was so dear to them then. They told us that they will protect the public purse. But President Akufo-Addo said he was too old to steal our money. He was coming to fight corruption, and he was projected and paraded all over the place as a no-nonsense person who was not going to tolerate corruption under his government. So if you check his 2017 State of the Nation address, 2018, you will see him a lot of big talk, a lot of lofty rhetorics in the State of the Nation addresses he presented then. Now, he goes to Parliament almost at the end of his tenure as president for the penultimate time to present the State of the Nation address, and he doesn't say anything at all. Anything at all about the fight against corruption. No. How can that be? What accounts for this deafening silence of the president on the issue of corruption? The answer is simple. It is because the president has given up on the fight against corruption. It is because the president and his vice and the entire ruling NPP have lost the fight against corruption. Because contrary to their promise to fight corruption, they came into power and decided to engage and promote corruption with brazen impunity. They have raised corruption to a level we have never seen in the history of this country. Corruption today has become an attractive, thriving, free-for-all venture for everybody, with the president and the vice leading the charge. So he doesn't want to talk about corruption. Corruption, like the Muslims will say, is now haram for Akufo-Addo. He doesn't want to mention it. He's fleeing away from it. Bawumia is fleeing away from it. Why? Ghanaians want to know why we spent a colossal 153 million cedis, equivalent to 1.5 trillion cedis, on the aborted, botched Ejapa scam, which never saw the light of day thanks to the vigilance of the OSP, the NDC, civil society, and other well-meaning Ghanaians. Why did we have to waste so much as a country faced with many economic problems? Problem of unemployment, underdevelopment. There are people in this country today who are suffering from serious health conditions. They can't even pay for normal dialysis treatment at the Kolebu Rena unit. People, not too long ago, Komfanoche, they came out last week to tell us that they don't even have adequate dialysis machines to treat kidney patients. People today in Ghana are still schooling under trees, our children. There are people in this country who are drinking from streams that animals drink from because they don't have access to potable water. And you take 153 million cedis in this time of suffering and pain, and you go and waste it on this corrupt scheme, and the president was silent about corruption and what he's doing about this matter. The PDS matter, Ghanaians wanted to know. We lost $2 billion as a result of that scandal, according to the Institute of Economic Affairs. This is a scandal which was orchestrated by the Vice President, Alhaji Bawumia, who decided unlawfully and recklessly to change the condition precedent of a bank guarantee into an insurance guarantee, and from a condition precedent to a condition subsequent, contrary to what Parliament had done, which allowed PDS to defraud us, according to the then Minister of Energy. Today, we have paid light bills to this PDS, totaling 1.5 billion cedis and over, that they are refusing to refund to the people of this country. And yet our president was dead silent about this matter. What has happened to the missing excavators? What has happened to the Auditor General's reports on the misuse of COVID funds, the naked thievery of public funds, the monies which were used to buy medical equipment which were diverted, the monies which were used to pay contractors for no work done. What has happened to that? No mention of the fight against corruption. I mean, you think about it, you don't understand why our own duty bearers who we have entrusted with our mandate can be so wicked to us. Then, Doc, even with the other things he spoke about, the opposite was the case. Everything he commented on, all the key issues, the opposite was the case. The president said, they have kept the lights on. You see? But God being so good, even at the time he was speaking, Doc, I didn't have lights. The people of Teshi, his constituency, Lejokuku, they didn't have lights. At the time, the president was waxing lyrical and bragging about keeping the lights on. Many people in Kumasi didn't have light. Tamale, Yendi. In fact, Dumso has returned in full force. And it didn't return now. It returned long time ago because of the mismanagement of the power sector, which has now plunged the sector into an avoidable, crippling debt crisis. We can't pay the IPPs. We are unable to even export power to Burkina Faso, Benin, Nigeria, Togo, and so on, as we have done in times past. For weeks now, the ECG has been shedding load between 300 to 600 megawatts. Yesterday, they were shedding about 530 megawatts of power. You're shedding load. Dumso is back. Instead of you to have the decency and a modicum of respect for Ghanaians by publishing a load-shedding timetable so that people can plan their lives, you have refused to do so. Why? Because they say that if we publish a load-shedding timetable, Dr. Randiabe will say that Dumso is back, so we will not publish it. Yet Dumso is back. Check, even yesterday, many parts of the country, people slept. I got lights around 5 a.m. today. From yesterday in the evening till 5 a.m. dawn, my lights were off. This week alone, I've bought fuel more than 2,000 Ghana cedis to power my generator. So how can you be lying through your teeth that you have kept the lights on, when rather you know next to nothing about the solution to the Dumso problem? That problem was fixed, totally fixed, sustainably fixed by John Mahama by 2016. A fact that Bawumia himself acknowledged in an interview with Joy FM in 2016, when he said Mahama had fixed Dumso but deserved no credit for fixing Dumso. Oseche Mensah Bunsu, your former majority leader, not too long ago, confessed on Kumasi-based Hello FM that Mahama solved Dumso, but at great cost. Your own former presidential aspirant, Wan Opoku, has made the same confession. So why do you continue to lie? Why do you continue to take credit for something that you have not done? What you have done is that after John Mahama has taken us out of Dumso by bringing in the power badges, increasing our generational capacity, giving us ESLA, a tax handle to clear the legacy debt in the power sector, giving us the Tuabo gas processing plant, the biggest factory in Ghana, $1 billion investment to supply gas to power our power plants and all that. You have been so reckless that you have mismanaged the power sector and you have plunged us back into Dumso. So that statement by the president was totally false. Then the president, shockingly again, said that the economy is now headed in the right direction. That is contained at the last paragraph of page 13 of his speech, that generally our macroeconomic indicators are now heading in the right direction. So I asked myself, well, what indicators is the president talking about? I mean, Doc, President Akufo-Addo must understand that he was not elected in 2022. Alhaji Bawumia did not become the chairman of the economic management team in 2022. So they cannot compare the state of the economy today to 2022 as the benchmark. You can't compare your performance in 2023, 2024 to the mess you created in 2022 and say you have done well. You took office on 7 January 2017. That is the economy we bequeathed to you. That was the economy you bastardized. That is the economy you said was a product of incompetence. That is the economy you promised to transform in 18 months. That is the economy that Bawumia said the fundamentals were weak. Therefore, that is the economy which is the benchmark for assessing your performance. If we want to know whether the economy is headed in the right direction or not, whether you are performing better relative to economic management or not, we must compare the economic matrices of today to that of 2016. And if we do that analysis, you would realize that the economy is indeed headed in the wrong direction and is being in that wrong direction for the last 7 years. Now, why do I say so? Bawumia says, when in doubt, look at the exchange rates. What is the state of the exchange rate today? At the time the president was speaking, you needed more than 13 cedis to buy a dollar. 13 Ghana cedis. These people have no shame. When the dollar rose to 4 cedis under John Mahama, you said he was incompetent and that the fundamentals were weak. That there is no reason why we should be buying $1 at 4 cedis. You came to power and bragged about arresting the dollar. Bawumia, arresting the dollar and giving the keys to the IGP. Today, the dollar has broken jail and has crossed 13 cedis. Do you know what that is doing to businesses? No. What that means is that that businessman who had a capital of 40,000 cedis in 2016 could buy $10,000 with that capital to import goods into the country. But today, if that businessman needs the same $10,000, he will need to cough up 130,000 cedis and over. That is 1.3 billion cedis and over. Look at the nominal increase. It means that he needs 90,000 Ghana cedis more to get the same $10,000. And this is why today the capital and profit margins of businesses have been wiped out, and businesses are shutting down, folding up, and laying off workers, and unemployment is on the rise. Because you have failed to stabilize the city like you promised. So when you say the economy is headed in the right direction, what are you talking about? Doc, inflation. Inflation today has resumed an upward trajectory. Inflation today stands at 23.5%. When they took office, it was 15.4%. They said it was too high. And to have a practical, appreciation of this high inflation rate, you need to go to the market. You need to go to the market. I don't know the last time President Akufo-Addo went to the market with his wife, or Bawumia went to the Malata market with Samira Bawumia. If they did, they will realize that today a ball of kenkey, which used to sell at 1 Ghana cedis in 2016 under President Mahama, today a ball of kenkey is going for 5 cedis. Even that, the size has been reduced. One kenkey.
2 cedis. Wato, straight. 2 Ghana.
When we finish, take me there. When they sell it at 2 cedis,
you don't
take
need
me
to go
there.
there. I'll bring you on the show.
No.
Next week, coming back.
Take me there so that we cannot go and buy it. Let's go to Osu. Another half of kenkey. And let's go and buy your 2 cedis kenkey. Let's see. Please, it's false. It's false. Look, Doc, sachet water.
Wholesale price in John. Wholesale.
Doc. Sachet.
No, I didn't hear. I do a wholesale price.
Look at it. Wholesale price. Who buys kenkey at wholesale price? Kenkey today is 5 Ghana cedis. Those watching, no. Doc.
You can get it at one district, one warehouse.
for 2 cedis.
For 2 cedis, wholesale.
Doc, see, this is the painful reality of the Ghanaian people. That today, even sachet water, 1 pack of sachet water, that used to sell at 1 cedi 50 pesos in 2016. Today, you need 10 cedis to get 1 pack of sachet water. We are not saying that prices should not go up. Prices will obviously go up once there is inflation. It is the quantum of increase we are alarmed about. Rice, which is a major staple in Ghana today, Doc, it will shock you. Gino rice, 5 kg, 2016, December, 25 cedis. Today, Gino rice, 185. Look, 25 cedis to 185 cedis.
A list of items and
prices. Oh, yes. I'll give you a few. Because this is the true state of the nation address. that the president is refusing to acknowledge, that Bawumia, dishonest Bawumia, is refusing to acknowledge. And we must remind them. Lele rice, 5 kg, 2016, 18 Ghana cedis. Today, 170 Ghana cedis in Accra. Cindy rice, 10 Ghana cedis. Today, 135 Ghana cedis. More than 1,000% increase.
These brands have... I remember getting...
Millicent rice. Millicent rice, 5 kg, 7 Ghana cedis in 2016. Today, 147 cedis. Okay, Pona. You know Pona? Yam. The tuber of yam. 5 cedis in 2016. Today, 15 cedis. Cement, 27 cedis, 2016. Today, more than 90 cedis. Check building materials. So people are suffering. And in the midst of that suffering, you don't come and tell us that the economy is headed in the right direction. Doc, show me one economic matrix today which is better than it was in 2016. Is it interest rates?
No, maybe the president is not comparing to 2016.
But he can't compare.
He's perhaps comparing to, let's say, 2022.
But why should you compare to 2022? Because you see, you can't say that.
Maybe he's looking at the darkest part of his regime. Mm-hmm. And the fact that so let's say the darkest part is when we declared bankruptcy. Yeah. We said we can't pay.
Let me give you a simple scenario.
We can't pay our debts. No, let me just. Okay. We can't pay our debts. Yeah. So that was our darkest part. We went to the IMF in an ambulance and all that. Now, it says that from taking those painful decisions, we are beginning to see some positives. So the comparison is to when we went
let's
into
even
the
use that. Let's even use that comparison. It's like saying that your son goes to school. Perish that thought, because I know your boy is very brilliant. But your son goes to school and gets F in mathematics for 2022. And then in 2023, he gets E in mathematics. He comes back to tell you that, Daddy, right now, my maths is in the good direction, but I'm doing better. Because from F, I am at E. E. And you say he's doing better.
Maybe on the basis of the F, I got him a teacher, a private teacher. And then the next exam, he moves from the F to the E, which means that there is something positive coming up. So if it continues...
But that positive increment is not significant.
Oh, of course.
And it's not worthy of celebration. So I'm not sure you will celebrate him. I'm not sure you will give him any special gift from moving from F to E, because it is still failed. The net effect is still the same. So if in 2022 the rate of inflation was moving around 38%, 40%, and today the interest rates were hovering around 38%, 40%, and today interest rates are still hovering around 35%, there's been a marginal reduction. But still that interest rate is still the highest in Africa for 2 consecutive years. And it is still suffocating businesses. If in 2022 your debt to GDP was over 104%, owing to your own recklessness, and today, because of a draconian debt restructuring program, that debt to GDP ratio has come down, you can't be saying we should be praising you.
Because the president says something that, and Oku, please write it down. Maybe you would have an answer for me. He was proudly telling us about how much they've paid bondholders.
Coupon raise.
How much they've paid bondholders.
Yes. That is an achievement.
They did tell us about how much they've picked from the pockets of
bondholders. Government creditors. They didn't tell us. But in any case, Doc, if you kill your mother, and you go and borrow 1 billion cedis to do a funeral for your mother, should we clap for you?
No, why I even raise that issue is that if I'm a bondholder and I know what this DDEP has done to me, and I hear the president talking about what they've paid.
It's an insult to your intelligence. It's an insult because
what is he telling me?
Debt servicing is part of what is called what do we call that? You know, in the budget you have capex, you have the non-discretionary. It's a non-discretionary expenditure. Debt servicing is non-discretionary. Every government is supposed to service its debts. So under Kufuor, we service our debts. Under Mahama, we service our debt. It was not an achievement. No president has ever gone to parliament to say, we have serviced our debt by paying so and so. Clap for me.
No,
then, Doc, the second point is what the point you're making, that you've paid this coupon, but this is after you impose crude haircuts on people. So you have actually reduced that coupon, the coupon rate you were supposed to pay people. You have deprived people of their investment.
I'm somewhere.
You have deprived people of their money.
I'm somewhere.
So you can't celebrate that.
You come to me and you tell me that, look, I have a levy called ESLA. It brings in S amount of money every time. And so I want to use this to raise funds. I am selling ESLA bonds. Come and buy. Or there is a tax handle called Get Fund Levy. This is how much it rakes every month. So I am creating a bond for you to come and buy. This is a tax handle. Statutory funds is going in. Your money is safe. On the basis of that, I invest. These tax handles,
in other words, you decide to lend government money.
Yes, these tax handles have not been withdrawn.
Yes.
They have not been reduced.
Yes.
They have not been scrapped.
Yes.
And then you tell me that
you won't pay me. You won't pay me what I'm entitled to.
And then after all that, you come and stand in front of me and tell me
spread
that
the principal over a long period of time.
You give X amount of money to...
And Doc, you know even the insulting parts and the dangerous part is that the principal, this is coupon, the principals which were due have been postponed, carried forward to 2026 and beyond. And they don't tell you what they will be bequeathing to the next government to pay you that money.
It's just like you've checked. It's just like you've checked out. You don't even care how people
he's
feel.
already checked out because
when you feel how they feel when you tell them something.
Is the one who will come and fix the mess. You see, Doc, and even in terms of our debt, the fact still remains that we can't service our external debt. We are still begging our bilateral, partners to give us debt relief. We still remain locked out of the international capital or Eurobond markets. The IMF still says that in spite of the debt restructuring, our debt levels are still unsustainable. And look, at this point about the exchange rates, have you realized that even though we are not servicing our external debts, which is denominated in dollars, the cedi is still depreciating at an alarming rate, and the dollar has crossed 13 cedis. If you are not converting cedis into dollar to service your debts, the expectation would have been that the cedi would have stabilized. Don't you realize? But even without converting cedis into dollars to pay our dollar-denominated debts, the dollar has crossed 13 cedis. Now, even if you look at the real sector, no improvement. I heard the president blabbing about
let's round up on this one.
1D1F. Look, industry sector, 2016 grew by 4.3%. 2023, their own figures contained at Appendix 1C of the 2024 budget say that industry sector grew by -1%. Manufacturing sector grew by 7.9% in 2016 under John Mahama. Under this government, after all the talk about 1D1F, manufacturing sector, -1.3%. Construction sector under John Mahama, 8.4%. Under them, those who claim that they have the best infrastructural record in the history of this country. Akufo-Addo says he has done better than all governments in health, in education, and so on. What is the growth rate for construction sector? -5%. So you look at the figures, you look at the facts contained in their own budgets, and you realize that their lies are exposed. Now, how can a government, and I'll conclude here, that has not initiated and completed one district or regional hospital, as we speak today, brag about having the best record in health, when the actual NDC Mahama government can boast of the first quaternary hospital in Ghana, 612-bed University of Ghana Medical Center. We can boast of a regional hospital, the Ridge Hospital, 420-bed, the Dodowa District Hospital, and many of such hospitals. You cannot talk about one hospital project, whether district or regional hospital, that you have initiated and completed in almost 8 years. You can't talk of even 10 senior high schools you have initiated and completed in almost 8 years. when you promised to build 350.
They've done nine STEM schools.
He says they have done 10 and operationalized 7.
Okay.
So they have not initiated and completed even 10. But my point is, you promised 350.
Yeah, but a STEM school is
how many secondary schools put together? Let's do the math.
Oh, maybe 10. Maybe 10 or 15.
No, whether a STEM school is a normal secondary school, the only thing is that the facilities for science and technology are more enhanced than the standard secondary school. So the bottom line is that it is still one secondary school. But you promised 350. You have done 7. We did 46 out of the 124 we commissioned, we started. You have not even initiated and completed one public university. In 8 years, the Mills Mahama government did 3 universities and completed 2. How can you even compare this shambolic performance to our performance?
Okay.
And I can go on and on. Electricity coverage. Whereas we were doing 2.8% per year, our area, 2.8% per annum. Increasing electricity coverage, nationwide electricity coverage from 60.5% to 83% in 8 years. You have increased it from 83% to 88%, 0.8% per annum. And you still have the audacity to talk. So, Doc, clearly our leaders, Alhaji Bawumia, President Akufo-Addo, they've lost touch with the reality. They are living in their own world. They are not sensitive to the plight of Ghanaians. They are not ready to address the serious socioeconomic problems confronting us. And that is why they must be booted out on the 7th of December 2024 for us to bring on board a new leader who has the vision, the experience to transform this country back to the path of development and progress.
All right. Okay.
And that leader is none other than His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who will be communicating his running mate to the National Executive Committee and the Council of Elders of the NDC later today.
Okay, today?
Yes, today.
Oh, okay. All right. So Ostige says a move from F to E is an improvement from useless to mediocre. By the Honorable Al-Hassan Suhuyini. It says, in 2017 State of the Nation address, President Akufo-Addo said, quote, Mr. Speaker, low growth, rising rate of unemployment, high fiscal deficits, high and rising debt, and increased depreciation of the city, high cost of food, housing and utilities, and high non-performing loans, amongst others, are symptoms of deeper structural problems that will require a range of reforms beginning immediately and spanning the short, medium, and long terms. We are going to have to implement some tough, prudent, and innovative policies to get out of this financial cul-de-sac and rescue this economy, restore fiscal discipline and debt sustainability, as well as increase economic growth. I will not allow this economy to collapse under my watch. Today, end of quote. Today, unemployment is up 14%. Fiscal deficit 7%. Debt is unsustainable and we are unable to pay our debts. CD to a dollar is 13 cedis. Food inflation is at an unprecedented high.
27%.
The economy has collapsed. End of story. That's the Honorable Hassan Suhuyini. Okay, so we would have to take a break, but today is the birthday. You know those who are born on the 29th of February, they get to celebrate their birthday every 4 years. It's only in a leap year that they get to celebrate their birthday. And today is the birthday of a brother of mine, Patrick. You can call him Kavej or Kavege, but he's popularly known as Allegro. Today is his birthday. He was born on the 29th of February. So happy birthday to you, Patrick Kavege of the Bank of Africa. Today is your birthday. Allegro, happy birthday. And he has agreed to do a party this time. And it's not a bring your bottle. Allegro Kewashe. So happy birthday, bro. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana, live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Dr. Ukoboy and Sammy Gyamfi. And pretty shortly, I'll also be speaking with Kofi Asari of the Africa Edu Watch. They've just come up with some interesting findings on education, and we'll speak with him briefly before our conversation with the CEO of the Minerals Commission, our normal Thursday morning conversation. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, has got the Mola, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko. Dakosombo Dan be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And charcoal has essential medicinal properties that help remove toxins from our bodies. The natural absorptive property of charcoal helps to remove the bacteria that produces bad breath in the mouth, hence giving you a fresh breath. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste has been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all the necessary production protocols and has been approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Constant use of Kel Charcoal Toothpaste gives you a good fresh breath, whiter teeth, reduces dental plaque, makes the gum healthy and strong, prevents cavity, upset stomach, hangover, and so on. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from 6 years and above. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. This is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste, happy smile. And Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208-128-190 or 055-001-0000. Now, the future is here. Where is the leadership? The maiden edition of the Future Ready Leadership Summit, dubbed Reimagining Leadership in a World of Unrelenting Change, with very inspiring speakers such as Sir Sam Jonah, Dr. George Ajekum Donko, Professor Kwekwe Tuahini Jima, and many distinguished speakers billed to speak on that day. The summit will come off on the 13th of March 2024 at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel at 8 a.m. For tickets of the event, kindly contact +233, 0267 349147 or 0244-202-949. And this is the NIBS Future Ready Leadership Summit. The future is here. Doc.
Manche.
Sona.
So before I go to Sona, let me quickly thank the former Roads Minister, Honorable Mokwata. After a lot of assurances, finally, our inner roads are seeing some works. You know, I don't have the wit like some people to do roads myself. I'll not mention their name. But
mention my name.
Because I don't have that wit, I spend a lot of time with Amakwata in the Urban Roads guys.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that now, when you go to Green Hotel, they are all seeing for the first time some bitumen. Okay. Even within the community itself, some very bad roads are being redone. And so, Doc, sometimes we have to thank people when, after a lot of pressure, they respond to us. There are 3 engineers also at Urban Roads that I want to say a big thank you to. Engineer Amu Godfred, he's the director of Urban Roads now. I thank him dearly for his support. We have one engineer, Adomako. He's also very, very helpful.
I know Adomako.
Adomako, yes. Yeah, and then Abbas himself, who is now the chief director, Alhaji Abbas. You know, life is interesting. The first time I went to Alhaji Abbas's office, I went to fight. I wanted to see him as MP. Pressure was on me. He was also under pressure. He didn't have. I
thought he's bereaved. His mom passed or something.
Yeah, I heard so. So our condolences to the family. So, Doc, let me thank all these people. And this is why we are into politics, to help address the challenges of our people. Doc, I listened to His Excellency the President, and let me say that I thank God for his life. You know, at his age, Doc, when you see, if after 80, you can still stand for 2 hours, read close to 50 pages or so, and how do you call it, be that energetic. It's only grace. You know, some of us, our parents didn't get to that figure. And even before they got there, they were not this strong. So we thank God for his life. Doc, so if you listen to the president, myself, for the first time, I was like, why was he starting from security? But when I considered a few things happening around us, I realized that sometimes when things are normal, you take it for granted. You know, those in Mali were minding their business, and then suddenly a military man comes and goes like, I'm in charge, you know. And when a military man is in charge, all your hard work as a private person, you never know what will happen to you. Look at Burkina, you know. And so, Doc, for the peace that we enjoy, we have to be grateful. Like he said, it's the grace of God and also a lot of planning. And by the way, Dr. Randy, the single most important, how do you call it, investment indicator we have now on the West African coast, Doc, is that we are a hub of peace and security. And that is a very vital tool when it comes to investments. The president mentioned what has been done to the judiciary, and again, sometimes we take it for granted. The only place where you can find solace and protection, even in democratic establishment, is the judiciary. If you have an incumbent, you have an executive with a majority in parliament, life can still be tough for you in terms of fairness. So I'm happy. And there's something I've observed about this government. There are some projects that were like white elephants before we came. And for some good reason, they've all started to see life. They are coming back to life. And it's one of the surest indicators that you have a government that is up and doing. The president mentioned the STEM, the one district, one factory, and all that. Now, I would like to take my presentation from this angle. This president gave his penultimate state of the nation. In fact, strictly speaking, is the last one, I'll put it. Because the next time he delivers the other one, we would have known whether you have a new government, like you have an extension or a breaking the eighth of this government or a new one from the opposition. Before he became president, some 7+ years ago, Doc, what was happening in this country? We had a Ghana. In fact, and I've said it here, I'll repeat it. The reason why NPP's manifesto for 2016 was change an agenda for jobs was only one thing. Look, because the national security reports, the intelligence reports, the feedback from the grounds all pointed to the fact that the biggest problem in Ghana under 8 years of Mills Mahama was unemployment. And so the manifesto theme for the New Patriotic Party confronted head-on the biggest problem Ghana was facing as at 2016 when we were going into the election. And remember, at the time when unemployment was the biggest problem, in fact, it had gotten to a national security threat, we had 8 years of President Mahama as the co-driver, because that's what we are being made to believe now. In fact, JM was not just the vice. JM was co-driver with Mills for 4+ years and became the driver with his Prof. Emisata, sorry. So we had JM sitting right by the steering wheel for 8 years, 2 terms. And yet, by the time he was checking out, the biggest problem in Ghana, picked up by national security, picked up, and later the results of the 2016 election showed that what we picked from national security on the grounds was true. JM didn't lose by more than 1 million votes by accident. The unemployment, the frustration in the system, the suffering, the struggling industrial sector because of unavailability of power or instability in the power situation, all all were true, evidenced by the results in the elections. This is the Ghana Akufo-Addo inherited from John Dramani Mahama, who had been president and co-president for 8 years. Growth of the economy was declining. How do you call it? Growth was declining. Fiscal deficit, which is one of the indicators of prudence and primary balance, was in a worse situation. In fact, I have the figures here. When you check, Ghana's trade balance was in the negative for 3-4 straight years under JM. What it basically meant is that what came to us as forex was less compared to what we had to use to buy or purchase services and goods. Any country that has a negative trade balance, a negative primary balance, will struggle to keep an economy that brings relief to the people and creates opportunities. And that's why under JM, unemployment was the biggest item in this country. This is the economy Akufo-Addo inherited 7 years ago. Akufo-Addo inherited a Ghana that could not afford to pay allowances for nurses, let alone dream of paying for the fees of kids, over 1 million kids.
Decided or could not afford.
But if you are struggling with allowances and you are saying that it is difficult because of the revenues compared to expenditure, and you were thinking of revoking the allowances, how can you then...
Was that a reason given by the government?
Oh, the man chair. You were, how do you call it?
Okay, go on.
Wait. They told us that they wanted to take in more nurses. So they wanted to take away the allowance. So that, look, Doc, I've said it and I'll repeat it. If you've not suffered hunger before, if you've not lived in a family where paying fees is a problem before, you underrate and undermine allowances that cushion people in school. And I'll mention it. My twin sister was a nurse. I was in medical school. She was getting money every month. I nearly switched from medicine to nursing because life was not easy. So these basic arguments like let's expand intake and remove allowance. Who told you it is easy to take out allowance and keep lives intact? And so we had an economy that basically could not sustain paying of allowance. This is the Ghana Akufo-Addo inherited. Akufo-Addo inherited a Ghana that could not keep the lights on for close to 3-4 straight years. Well, the viewer watching lived in Ghana. I was in Ghana. We will not belabor the point. You knew what happened to you before Akufo-Addo came. The calls to your partners at home, whether the lights were on or not. So you prepare your mind. That was the Ghana we were left with. And if you have a country that cannot keep the power on, how can industry grow from a 12-hour economy to a 24-hour economy? We had a Ghana, by the way, by the time JM was checking out, we had gone into an IMF program. And we all have sort of agreed that it is a challenged economy. It is an economy in some difficulty that goes to the IMF, where the interest rates on what you receive is lower than the capital market. So with all this hype, with all these wild comments about the JM, new JM that we'll get and all that, this JM, after 8 years, actually landed us at an IMF program. That is what the records show and the history shows. But let's now come into the first term of Akufo-Addo. In the first budget statement read by Ken Ofori-Atta, boldly, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo decided and told the nation that we have what it takes to pay the fees of over 200,000 kids annually, and that we cannot wait any other extra year to prepare enough, so-called, before paying for their fees. And by the way, the statistics show that before we came, an average of 100,000 kids qualified for SS but didn't enter. And I'm not surprised because I nearly also didn't enter. It took some loans from ADB to go to PRESEC. So This president sometimes is talked about like some mythical, how do you call it, insensitive boss. But this same Akufo-Addo has paid fees for over 1 million kids so far, kids who are found in homes in this country. This Akufo-Addo has gave us a power availability situation that is better than what JM gave us after 8 years. This same President Akufo-Addo has made it possible for industries and factories to come up, and not only that, if you take a factory like Casapreco, under the 1D, 1F program, there were serious tax exemptions given to Casapreco, which made it possible for Casapreco to acquire a defunct, moribund, dead factory in Tanoso within the Ashanti region. And as we speak, Doctor, there are youth within the Tanoso environs who are on their way to work. Youth that would have been part of the unemployment force if Nana had not stimulated one district, one factory. President Akufo-Addo, before COVID struck, worked hard to make Ghana the #1 destination for foreign direct investment in West Africa. Ghana was the #1. Before COVID struck, Ghana was listed as one of the high-performing economies and shining examples in West Africa. In fact, the first 3 years of Akufo-Addo was directly opposite to the last 3 years of JM. Nana Akufo-Addo recorded a positive trade balance for 3 consecutive years. And I listened to my brother Sami. He says Akufo-Addo didn't mention unemployment. Man, chair, you don't have to mention the word unemployment to show that you are interested in creating opportunities. The president mentioned 1D, 1F in his speech. Even mentioned that over 170,000 people have been absorbed. It is the opportunities you create that speak to unemployment, not the word itself. If it's a word, I would have called Eugene to keep unemployment in the speech. But it's opportunities. The president spoke about revival of the CAT project, the Confanoche Teaching Hospital, a project that has been moribund for the past 40 years. Manche, Bononi, you are to you know, Panonofio. 40 years. Confanoche Teaching Hospital.
Can boy a question be more biana?
A project that has been moribund for 40 years. JM was in power for 8 years. The CAT project was hanging. It's a big white elephant. It remained so for 8 years. And the Akufo-Addo, it is being built at the cost of about 138 million euros. Revival of projects. These will create jobs. A lot of youth are working. So Akufo-Addo doesn't need to mention the word unemployment. The opportunities you create will speak to employment. The University of Ghana, how do you call it? University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Anytime I pass by and see the stadium, I get inspired that all is not lost for Ghana in terms of hope. Structures that were hanging for years are coming up. It is a sign that you have a government that is working. Look, my brother says that Nana didn't mention corruption. You don't need to use the word corruption to show that you mean business. The president mentioned the judgment.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Are you seriously saying that after all your analysis, I didn't even want to interrupt you. This national security thing about jobs and unemployment, it happened during President Kufuor's time. That is what led to that thing that was created. The YE or something, yes. That was a national security report. So it was not during Mills Mahama. But then again, you're right. The issue about jobs, that was the campaign promise of the NPP. Are you suggesting that an issue of employment, which is what underpinned President Akufo-Addo's ascendancy to the president. And the fact that we now have a report from the government statistician, which tells us that unemployment is at an all-time high. Job creation, employment or unemployment, should not be a standalone subject. I mean, we are able to let naming of airports be standalone. We can remember to specifically mention the naming of airports. But the issue of employment, unemployment, job creation, something which was the pivot around ascension to power, it cannot stand alone. And you are saying that when 1D, 1F is mentioned, there is an element of employment. When there's something, there's an element. So we should go chasing those things to find.
Employment, each 170,000. No, call for no opponent, no be on questions. Manche, look, the president mentioned Attorney General, the orientation of the current Attorney General. Under President Mahama, we had an Attorney General, in fact, a Deputy Attorney General, Martin Odro, it's on record. Amidu said he told him, don't sit here in the office and be determining cases and conceding and yielding and putting the state in a situation of liability. Go to court and defend every claim. Amidu said it. He said he told him, Martin, check out from this behavior. These are all forms. These are forms that corruption can emerge or be created or be consolidated. And under
are you suggesting that under your government, you have not paid judgment debts?
But that's not, all what I'm saying is that the attitude and orientation of this government is that for every claim, we challenge it in court, open court.
It is not every claim that you have challenged.
But
2017, you paid 111 million cedis. 2018, you paid 153.
Yes.
2019, you paid 13.9. 2020, you paid 18.9. 2021, you paid 357.811. 2022, 2.8 million.
The point I'm making is that if you compare the number of cases we resolved on the table and those we are fighting, the figures are huge. We are fighting more compared to them. No, you are. Manche. So, look, and again, people have forgotten so soon. Had it not been for this government, I don't want to mention his name. His name has been mentioned, even a song came out. But there were some individuals who got some payments. And it has taken this government to have some retrieved back to chest and even chase them for others. In open court. There were judgments in open court. Manche. So, the orientation of this government, and look, when the ports were being made paperless, I know practitioners, as in those who are into that business, who initially fought and said, oh, let's keep the old. Now with the system, the face-to-face has reduced. There's been some huge savings. And when you look at, how do you call it, those who are even practicing, the importers, they will tell you that now, even in the night, in your house, there are some procedures that you can do on your phone or online. And then, how do you call it, the access to goods is reduced compared to the past. That's not to say that every bureaucracy has been reduced. But the ways to reduce corruption involves putting systems in place. Because human beings by nature are corruptible. So you always want to put a system where even if the fellow is a criminal, the system will not make it possible for them to perpetrate.
Like SML.
Now, if you look at the PDS, the claims of PDS, by the way, I don't want to mention his name again. We have people who were in the banking sector, who under the extra regime got money from Bank of Ghana, misappropriated the funds, how do you call it, treated people's savings in a funny way. And under this regime, they've been tried in courts of competent jurisdiction. Monies have been retrieved and they've been jailed. This fighting corruption action, Oh, come on. But you see, JM...
The loans that have taken us to where we are.
I'll come there in your loan section.
I said the loans.
The
loans that have taken us to where we are. People were profiting from them.
Now, by the way, this talk that when Ken arranged loans, he got paid and all that.
Not just him.
Oh. Manchester, before Ken came, the previous presidents we had, when they went for loans, there were financial institutions that arranged, they also got paid for services. I don't want to mention it. Now, price movement.
Can you just repeat what you said?
Manje, I don't want to provoke you, but part of events.
Of course.
Manje, I think it is important to mention that. In fact, I brought figures
Your
here.
style of communication must be studied in political communications.
See, I've heard my brothers in the NDC make very strenuous, frantic efforts to tell the Ghanaian that you are suffering because you have a useless Akufo-Addo government. But Manche, forgive me, there is some level of dishonesty in that particular presentation.
All right.
Our brothers in the NDC, including the flag bearer, and by the way, let me congratulate JM for choosing Professor Jane.
Has he?
We're working with intelligence. Now, you see, if it had been someone else, people can argue that JM that the complementary one can bring some change. But now that is the same set. No, it's the same set. At least when you are looking at the past 8 years, you know that the history and the record is likely to be transmitted.
Because Professor Jane was vice president for 8 years.
Oh, but no.
So I'm asking you.
Okay. All right. So, but congratulations to Jane for choosing Jane. Doc, now, I was speaking to the dishonesty.
Why are you looking at him like that?
I was speaking to the dishonesty because
Oh, God.
in 2020, Doc, when COVID struck,
Yes.
the how do you call it? The livelihoods of people were eroded, taken away from them. And I always use Alisa, which is right here, as an example. When COVID struck, most of the workers in Alisa had to go home. In fact, some were given reduced amounts because virtually the hotels were closed, just to keep body and soul together. Doc, COVID eroded the livelihoods of people globally. In fact, COVID, the inflation, and I listed a few countries, the inflation for Senegal. You know, there are some countries that have been set like our contemporaries, or in terms of they are like good examples in West Africa. Senegal, over time, has emerged as one of them. If you look at 2012, Senegal's inflation rate was 1.4. Inflation in Senegal dropped to 0.8 in 2015. Though, as late as 2018, it was 0.4 in Senegal. Guess what? In 2020, it went to 2.5. And this is mathematics. If you divide 2.5 by 0.4, it's about 400-500%. So sometimes I see people doing raw that Ghana, our inflation is not 43%, 50%. If you look at our historical inflation rates, even under GM, inflation was a double-digit deficit. The average inflation rate under GM was double-digit. So when you list the trend, you realize that although the figures nominally look big, in terms of percentages, it can be compared to our contemporaries. Doc, inflation rose to 9.69 in 2022 in Senegal, from 0.4 to 9.69, over 10-fold. What caused this, Manche? You've gone ahead of me, but you're PhD. Look at the trend. You have a trend which is stable. All of a sudden, there's a big jump. An event caused it. What caused it? Catch it, I can catch it. Like an event. You know what? Now, leave Senegal. Let's come to Nigeria. 2013, Nigeria's inflation rate 8.5%. 2020, 13.2. Manche. 2021, 16.9. 2022, 18.5. What made their inflation jump from an average of 9 to about 20% in 2023, Manche? You are a PhD student. Something accounts for that jump. Now, let's come to Japan. In fact, Japan's average inflation rate before COVID struck.
What are you trying to tell us?
Correct. I like this question. Is to tell you that globally, an event disrupted the management of countries and made conditions of living tougher as a result of an increase in.
But is that in doubt?
Oh, but some don't refer to it.
It's not in doubt.
Oh, but okay, it's not in doubt. Because I mean, the inflation is high.
Will you be able to tell me, for example, Senegal,
Yeah.
how much money they got as a result of COVID?
How
many taxes they instituted as a result of COVID?
I've written all this, naturally.
Okay, please tell us. Okay.
So, yeah. So the point I want to make is that, Doc, price movements have been part of the Fourth Republican dispensation, but we all admit that the inflationary rates became very high post 2020, and I'm saying confidently that the factors that accounted for it were not only local but external. If Sammy talks and concedes to the external, I will not speak much. That's my problem. Okay. Now, Doc.
Wind up for me.
Yeah, let me wind up. You see, Doc, I think this is the way I would like to round up. If 8 years was enough to solve all of a country's problems, I don't think JM will be coming back, and he wants to lead us. JM coming back as a candidate is an admission that to fix a country with fundamental issues, 8 years is not enough, because he was president for 8 years.
Was president for 8 years.
So, but no, going by that analogy, now the talk in town and the presentation is that, look, when you are vice president, you are virtually the co-driver. So if JM was a co-driver for 4 years and driver for 4 years, it means he's been like a president for 8 years. Using their...
So same as Bawumia.
Okay. Yes. Okay. But for JM, he was co-1 and main 4. So, okay. Doc, I think the job we have as politicians, when you drill everything down to basics, Doc, what the ordinary man watching the show now, listening to us, is to make sure that some basics are there. Power must be available. It must be affordable. Sami must show us the record of JM. That shows that he can make power affordable and available as your viewer wants, compared to how do you call it, Bawumia, his association with this government, and what he says he will do. What we must demonstrate to the public, the one watching us now, is how we would ensure that when their kids finish school, they can easily get a job based on our track record in public service. If you get someone who has never been given opportunity in private sector and public, maybe you can use only hope. But both gentlemen going for the election have records. And based on their record, we can have an idea whether what they tell us can be done. And lastly, social protection. There are people who are in certain states now that even good policies cannot take them out. We need to find, there are some like LEAP, like this health insurance, we need to find ways to strengthen and make such social protection policies more robust. These are the things that Ghanaians want. And those highfalutin things that Sami wants us to believe can only be achieved through a lot of hard work, a lot of details, and not sloganeering.
Okay. All right. So our time is almost up.
How long can you give me?
We don't even have 5 minutes. Yes. But time is so much.
At least give me 6.
I will not be. We will not even be able to speak with Mr. Kofi
You do that tomorrow?
of Africa EduWatch. I apologize, Kofi. I apologize. We'll do the interview if it's fine by you. We'll do that first thing tomorrow morning. I think it's a very important subject.
I can see Mr. Isi saying that he's giving us 20 minutes of his time.
I doubt if he'll give you that. He's a very busy person.
Lithium so give us some 10 minutes.
No, he's a very busy man. We should have started at 9:45.
Yes. Dr. Koboy must understand.
Mind you have only
5 minutes, right?
Yes. So
5 minutes, okay. I'm timing myself. The days when the MPP could get away with lies are long gone. So, Koboy, and a new leaf. Okay? You say that under John Mahama, unemployment was a security threat. I'm glad Dr. Abiy has corrected you that unemployment has always been a security threat and was the case even under Kufuor. But we came and did our part to reduce the rate of unemployment. All the investments we made in infrastructure, the port expansion, the modernization of our markets, the expansion of our airports, and all that created decent, sustainable jobs. And so even though under us there was unemployment, the rate of unemployment was only 8.4%. You said that rate of unemployment, which was 8.4%, was too much. And that same was the mark of incompetence. And that under you, the economy was going to grow and grow and grow, and that there will be jobs and jobs and jobs. Today, unemployment rate is 14.7%. Is 14.7% better than 8.4%? That is the issue. Youth unemployment, 15 years to 24 years, 30%. 15 years to 35 years, 22% unemployment rate. Is that better than what you complain about in opposition? That is the issue. Then he says that the economy, Akufo-Addo came to meet. Number one, fiscal deficit was out of control. For your information, fiscal deficit in 2016 was 6.1%. It went up to 15% under your watch, under the watch of Bawumia in 2020. All-time high. And then to 12% by 2022. So in terms of fiscal recklessness and mismanagement, you don't have any a basis to even talk about that. Under us, growth was declining. Yes, it's true. 3.6 growth. What is the economic growth now? 2.8, according to President Akufo-Addo. Is 2.8 better than 3.6? Huh? Then, what about the $250 million President Mahama left you? When you were talking about the economy you came to meet, that one you didn't talk about it. $250 million in the stabilization fund, which became your savior when COVID struck. You didn't talk about that. $250 million in the sinking fund, which President Mahama bequeathed to you to be used to pay the Kufuor $750 million Eurobond we contracted in 2007. That one you won't talk about it. The almost 1 million tons of cocoa we left you. You won't talk about it, which is today hovering around 500,000 and below. Our lowest in 20 years. You won't talk about all the things we left you. You won't talk about the Tuabo gas processing plant we left you. Then, Doc, he says our economy could not sustain the payment of allowances. That is not true. We took a deliberate decision to replace the allowances with student loans. So learn to be factual. The allowances were replaced with student loans as it pertains for all tertiary institutions. When I went to school, I also come from a very humble beginning. I had financial issues, okay? But what was the money we were all using to pay for our handouts and all that? It was the student loan. And it was the same thing the NDC Mahama government made available to students in the colleges of education because they had been upgraded to the level of universities and they were being awarded degrees. And we said the allowances... Oh, my 5 minutes is not up, Doc.
It's up.
Then, Doc, he says that when they took over, the lights were not on. The lights have been off for 3 years. You know that? That was between 2013 and 2015. By 2015, December, load shedding officially came to an end. John Mahama fixed that problem. And then he says that the economy they took, we handed over to them, was at the IMF at the time we left office. That is true. But it matters how you go to the IMF. We walked to the IMF. You went to the IMF on a stretcher with an oxygen machine on you, and in an ambulance, you went in the state of comatose. Because when we went to IMF, we were servicing our debts. Our economy, that economy that we took to IMF was rated B-. Your economy you took to the IMF is rated ball and junk. And your economy cannot even service our debt. So don't talk about that. Then he talks about the economy, blah, blah, blah. Look, interest rate today, highest in Africa, over 35%. The dollar, highest as compared to 13 cedis. You should not even get the courage to even talk about the economy. Inflation, 23.5%. So you don't have that audacity. That you should not even get the temerity to talk about the economy. Doc, last 2 points, then I conclude. He talks about Akufo-Addo. Now he says 1D1F is equal to unemployment. Massa.
No, it says
Massa, you're a medical doctor.
It says that
you're a
you
medical
can
doctor.
find employment there.
You can find employment there.
Yeah, it creates jobs.
With
too.
all the one district, one factories, one district, one factory, all those projects, how come unemployment has galloped from 8.4% to 14.7%?
Maybe it could have been worse.
How come that the manufacturing sector is shrinking from 7.9% in 2016 to negative 1%?
It could have been worse.
How come industry has moved from 4.3% under John Mahama? Then what kind of one industrialization program is that? Do you know the jobs John Mahama created in the pharmaceutical industry when he gave the Tobinkos and the NS chemists a stimulus package of $25 million and all that? Then finally, let's talk about the Attorney General has saved us 10 trillion cedis. It is the most warped argument anybody
But
can
the
make.
Attorney General has explained it.
That what?
He speaks about lawsuits, claims that were made by institutions, and what the institutions asked from the courts, and he has compiled them.
No, anybody can go to court.
Yes.
So you don't take the damages claimed against government in civil actions, put it together and say you have saved that money.
Yeah, so you disagree with the computation.
So it's like we to come and say, under us, we had a maritime boundary dispute with Cote d'Ivoire, and we won. Do you know the worth of that resource?
Yes.
And so we say that we have saved that money.
Yes.
Then every attorney general will say, I litigated this number of cases. This was what the plaintiffs were claiming against the state.
So that's why I said
and we won. So,
yes.
I mean, what kind of pedestrian analysis is that?
Okay.
And finally, don't repeat it anywhere. Finally, Doc, don't repeat it anywhere. And Doc, I know that is your brother, so that's why you didn't correct him, but please advise him. The paperless post system preceded your government. If you don't know, I can give you the source. Go and read.
Okay.
There's a story. Ghana Post now has paperless clearing system. March 27, 2014. It says the Ghana Community Network Services Limited, GCNet, the e-solutions provider to government which developed and deployed the Ghana Customs Management System for clearing of goods at the ports in collaboration with the Customs Division of GRA, is deploying the paperless clearing system across all customs entry points in the country. So it precedes you. Stop peddling falsehoods. Of course, unfortunately, we didn't have time to touch on the other things,
I
but it's
think
fine.
those watching and listening, as well as the freight forwarders, they can tell us whether what they are experiencing now was the same before Akufo-Addo came. They will tell us.
The substance is the same. The paperless for the rest
Sammy, don't interrupt him.
That's the point.
Yeah, and cabinet minister, I want to be coming in small one.
But you
want to for that.
Yes.
No, when all is said, when all is said and done,
Yes.
what we want is a country that can give education to its kids
Yes.
in a very good environment. Sanitation can be improved in our schools. The quality of food can be improved. We want a country where you can go to the court and even if you are not known, you will get justice. We want a country where when you finish school, you are not anxious about getting a job. We want a country where wherever you find yourself in this country, you can access the internet and be able to engage in a class from Harvard or from Princeton or wherever. You want a country where you don't have to call the house to ask whether the lights are on or not. We want a country where we can produce our own rice, reduce the imports drastically, and create opportunities. Those watching us, this is what they are interested in. And and I want to say that whatever Nana has done to, reinforce, strengthen the foundations of this country when it comes to security, it comes to laying the whatever for industry and all that. We are looking at leadership that can improve on this. And it's a choice between JM and Bawumia. And unfortunately for us, one of them has been our father before. We've lived with him. We have an idea of what he can do. I'm convinced that the one who can give us a different situation is, how do you call it, Dr. Mahmoud.
Okay.
Amangafiu.
Okay.
Special greetings to Chief of Staff, Madame Frema. So far, she's been tremendous. And then to the First Lady as well. And today, to the one who gave forward to my book, His Excellency, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Let me also take special time to greet one lady, I was supposed to attend her birthday. One Chocho lady who stays at Muji Park. I promised her, I put it on my schedule. In Teshi.
Okay.
I put it on my schedule to attend. And then I got a call to come here. So I promised them, herself, her friends and family, that I'll mention on the show. So when you get around Muji Park, you can ask for Chocho. She makes bags, indigenous bags and all that. Next time I'll bring you some samples. So Doc, I thank you for all the support. And as I go for the vetting, I know you have a lot of filler. And let Sammy talk to his people.
Okay.
We are all one people.
We all one people.
We are all one people.
With a common destiny.
With a common destiny.
Don't you admire Cowboy?
He's trying to entice the vetting committee.
He's lobbying you. Is this talk to your people for him?
Oh, they've never. So far, no one has ever been rejected.
Okay. So let me say a big happy birthday once again to a brother of mine, Patrick Avege of the Bank of Africa. It's popularly known as Allegro. Everybody calls him Allegro. Today is his birthday. One of the few people who were born on the 29th of February. So happy birthday to you, Allegro. And we'll go to Saturday, so we'll be there. The first time you'll be having a party which is not bring your bottle. Which is not bring your bottle party. Up next, our conversation with the Minerals Commission.